there's only so many ways you can edit that movie into a cohesive. And then if you start shooting other material, is it even a Snyder cut, or is it just like another, like the Justice League 1.5, we cheated? Justice League, just kidding. Justice League, forget that ever happened.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about WandaVision.
Please help me. What day is it? How long has it been? Where's my phone? I have to call my sister.
No.
She's taking care of our dad. He's sick. Where's my phone?
Calm yourself, Norm. I can't understand what you're trying to tell me.
You have to stop her.
Stop who?
She's in my head. None of it is my own. It hurts. It hurts so much. Just make her stop. Just make her stop!
All right, so Joey, we are 6 episodes into WandaVision?
We are 6 out of 9 episodes, so we are, for those folks who love data out there, 66% of the way through the season.
Oof.
Numbers, ow, yeah, hurts my head.
So I mean, it's been a roller coaster. It
Definitely
has
has.
Roller coaster of a season. I can tell you where we are now. I did not think we were going to get here, but we are here.
We are definitely here.
We are. So what we are going to do, we're going to walk through what our thoughts are of the first 6 episodes of WandaVision. Then we're going to get into some theories, some speculation.
Yes, sir. That's where the fun begins, you know.
Yes. So Joy, why don't you start off? What have you thought about the first 6 episodes of WandaVision?
I have. So I know. So for anybody who's been watching any of our reaction videos, first off, thank you. Second off, so we said it after the first 2 episodes. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know where we were going to go with this show because the first 2 episodes were purely a 50s, 60s style sitcom. We hadn't started getting any of those answers that we've started getting kind of in episodes 3 through 6. So it started off very slow, which most shows do. But I'll be honest, after that first week, we weren't really all that into it. I mean, we didn't dislike it, but we're just like, well, it was funny in a 50s and 60s comedic style, but it didn't feel like Marvel related at that point. And I can tell you episodes 3 through 6, I am hooked. This is a show that feels, I was thinking about it today, this is a show that feels completely unique, at least to me, right? Whenever I sit down and watch TV, it blends this weird, trippy, Wanda's version of her world, and then you've got the real world going on outside, and then you've got this weird, you've got this weird filter of we get to, what bridges those 2 worlds is this little old school TV with sitcoms that we get to watch. And that is a completely unique idea. And I know that Marvel gets a lot of I don't want to say hate, but a lot of critics say it always feels the same and they don't do anything different. I'm glad that they're doing something different. So that's my review quickly in a nutshell. What are you feeling about this season, the only season of WandaVision so far?
After those first 2 episodes, and once you go into the 3rd one and you see what's going on with Rambo, and you see Wanda kick her out, and you see the Vision who's dead. You see Wanda have sort of that, I don't know what you call it, but she sees a dead Vision. Once I saw that,
some would say she had a vision of Vision. Obligatory puns.
But once we saw that, I was on board. And the next episode comes and it ties everything together. And then we got my favorite person ever in the MCU, Detective Wu. And this guy is just on the scene. He is just on it. He can fight. He can solve mystery. He can solve cases. I mean,
everybody needs a friend like Jimmy Woo.
He knows magic. I mean, This guy's great.
So what I'm hearing is Jimmy Woo. You heard it here first, folks. He's the secret villain we've all been speculating about.
Nah.
No. Okay, that one. You're not buying that one. Okay, fair enough.
But he's excellent. I'm so happy he's back in the MCU. It just, man, this show just works. It should not work, but it just does.
I love that. It should not work. None of this should work. And sorry, guys, if this was DC, this would have fallen apart a long time ago. The fact that Marvel can come out and do something like this in a TV format, kudos to you, Marvel.
After getting through, the first 6 episodes and how they're going error to error, it's, like literally we watched last week's episode and it was like, man, this is spot on. Yeah. Like I literally found myself, and this is another genius thing that Marvel's doing. I wasn't into like the first 2 episodes, right? Like the I Love Lucy type style. My mom loved it. I believe Nikki loved it.
Yeah,
right?
She did.
She loved it. It wasn't my thing though. Now we get to the late 90s, early 2000s, Malcolm of the Middle style. I love it. I was all on board. I was literally laughing at the jokes of the sitcom of the show itself.
And that is such a good, and like you hit it right. Like the cool thing about this show is not only is this story different and new and being told in a cool way, but the production of this show is something different than we're used to seeing, because they have so perfectly captured, and we've talked about it in the reaction videos earlier, they've so perfectly captured the essence and the vibes of each one of these decades and each one of these shows. Like you just said, let's forget Marvel. Let's pretend Marvel doesn't exist. You would feel like you're watching a 90s sitcom show like Malcolm in the Middle, and you're laughing at 90s style jokes, and you get it. And it still works on that level too. So production quality and storytelling has just melded so perfectly with this show.
As far as me, man, I'm 100% on board with this. I will never, ever, ever doubt Marvel. No, let me change that. I will never doubt the MCU again. I will never doubt Kevin Feige. This show, I can't wait. I mean, ever since, what was it, episode 3, each episode has gotten better and better and better, and I don't see it slowing down. We got that big reveal last week that Wanda is literally expanding her reality, and I have no idea what's going to happen next. But we are going to get into.
That is the perfect segue then. If we don't know what the hell we're talking about, that's perfect, because let's all speculate together then. That's perfect.
Let's do this. Why don't we do it like this? You tell me a theory, and then I'm gonna tell you a theory I have. Let's kind of pass it back and forth. So, Joey, what's one theory that you have for WandaVision moving forward?
Okay, my one theory, and I don't think it's that big of a jump to throw it out there. I think they are going reverse House of M comic storyline, and I do just want to say, look, I haven't read the storyline, but I have read on the storyline where she basically ends all mutants. I think they are going to be starting the mutants with this show. And I think it's even stronger after last week, because they started talking about Monica Rambeau. Her I think it was the DNA is starting to change at a cellular level just by going in and out of the hex. If you're changing at a cellular level, you're mutating. So she might even end up being the first mutant, unless they start doing the multiverse stuff with Quicksilver. But I will limit it there. If I only get one theory for you, I'll end it there, and we'll keep passing it back and forth.
So I can see that.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. See, this is the thing about this show. This is, and it's not even a problem, but this is the thing that I come to. There are so many possibilities for where this could be going, and I want to throw out all this stuff, but then it's like, are they really going to do all of this stuff with this one show? See, like for me, the theory I have, I think we're getting the Fantastic Four, at least Richards.
Okay.
I think that is the friend, that I think that's the aerospace engineer. And but again, it comes to, are they really going to introduce mutants and introduce the Fantastic Four all in this one show?
Why not? Why? Let's do it. Let's throw everything in. Every hero you got, let's introduce in the next 3 episodes. Why not, Marvel?
Like a lot. Now, because I come back to one of
that would be a good way to market Disney Plus, right? Like, we are going to if you buy our little monthly subscription here, you will get big time reveals, and it is vital now that you do this. You must have it if you want to get the full bang for the buck in a Marvel movie.
Stocks will explode. Let me say this: the theory about the mutants. Personally, I think it's going to be either or. I think either, because I think the one thing with Captain Marvel, not Captain Marvel, with Rambo, is that she could just be gaining her powers. That I believe she has almost the same powers as Captain Marvel, or similar, or
from what I've read up on, because I didn't know much about her before the show either, honestly.
So I think this could just be a way that she's going to get her powers.
Yeah.
And then we have the big reveal of Richards from the Fantastic. I don't know. I find it. I want it to happen. I just don't know if Marvel would show all their cards with this one show. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it could work. So, and for me, I try to think like, well, was it aerospace engineer that she keeps mentioning? Is that the specific title?
Aerospace engineer.
Yeah, I don't know who else that could be that we've ramped up for 2 episodes, and eventually we're going to get some sort of payoff. So,
well, that's the thing, right? Like, I know that is going to be something big. It has to be. They built it up for 2 episodes now. 2 episodes. Or, I mean, see, the thing with Marvel is that they can take liberties with what's in the comics, right? Like, Wanda in this series isn't a mutant, right? She was created from the Mind Stone. So was her brother Pietro. Of course, in X-Men, and the source material, they are mutants. So who's to say that the Fantastic Four may not just be mutants, right?
That would actually be really cool.
I mean, there's no, they can take this wherever they want to take it. So anyways, that's my theory. I think we are going to get Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. I think that is the aerospace engineer. I think we are going to have, at least when we're talking about introduction to the Fantastic Four, I think we will get his character, even if it's for just a brief cameo. Joey, do you have another theory?
Man, I got theories for day, Ryan. Thank you for asking. So this one isn't really much. It's not necessarily a theory, but I do know that Elizabeth Olsen came out and said we're going to get a Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian level version of a cameo for this show. I rack my brain and I say, wow, it's very cool that we got Quicksilver at the end of episode 5, but I was like, that doesn't really, like, if there are implications that he's bringing in the X-Men, yeah, that would be a pretty big cameo.
Right.
But I'm not even convinced that is going to happen, like, just with him. I still think the X-Men could happen, but I don't think it necessarily is only because of him. But I do think the series, because we know Wanda, it's confirmed that she is going to be in Doctor Strange 2. Yeah. I think we are going to get an appearance by Doctor Strange. I don't know if the multiverse opens at the end of this or if it's just because of the results and we see that in Doctor Strange 2. But I do think we are going to get Doctor Strange at the end of this season.
Do you think it's going to be the type of thing where Doctor Strange is in New York and he's at his place and he has an epiphany that, oh, snap, something is happening, let me get prepared? Or do you think it's the type of cameo or appearance where he literally comes to save the day?
Because she specifically mentioned Luke Skywalker, I'm leaning towards Save the Day. Now, that also might be wishful thinking because over the last couple of movies with them, I've really grown to like the character of Doctor Strange once he got past his douchebag tendencies. Although, he's still kind of there sometimes, but I really like him as a character. So it might be part wishful thinking, but it makes sense because she's going to be in that movie. And you start thinking, if this is her level of power right now, I mean, she's become quite the threat. And it's really interesting to see just how powerful she is. I think the reveal that she is actually changing things in real life and starting to change human beings at a cellular level, that is a huge threat. I think he comes and saves the day. What I don't know is, and I don't know if we want to go into it yet or not, I don't know if he ends up saving Wanda from a true villain or saving everybody else from Wanda who becomes the true villain. So I will stop there because I'm sure we'll talk about that in a second.
So I have two theories, but they kind of tie into one. So I definitely think, well, number one, where are the Avengers? I'm going to keep saying this. Listen, I understand. See, I understand Captain Marvel. She has a bunch of planets that she's protecting. Got it. I understand that. Thor in the Guardians of the Galaxy. Sure, okay. They're in outer space. They're out doing their thing. Spider-Man, I get it. He's grounded. He's in New York. He's still a kid. Sure, got it. But I mean, where's Nick Fury? Nick Fury is supposed to, he's still alive. He's supposed to, kind of be the person that contacts people and tells them, what's going on. What like. That's my only question.
That is a great question too, because why is Sword when did Sword start happening in this reality?
I think Nick Fury is already a part of Sword. At the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, you see him in space. I think he is a part of Sword already. I think, and honestly, here's another one. I wouldn't be surprised if the people that we're seeing in this show are Skrulls.
The people in Sword or the people in Sword? Okay.
Think about it. Rambo.
Wow, we've got an abundant number of theories.
I wasn't even going to go there.
I say we go there. We got to see how many of these are wrong. Probably all of them at this point. But that's okay.
Think about it. Nick Fury was in space with Skrulls.
Yeah.
I mean, really, is S.H.I.E.L.D. even a thing anymore?
And they have Secret Invasion, the TV show coming up.
Again, that's a way to kind of have Secret Invasion going on. Nick
you
Fury,
gotta have it all tied.
Nick Fury is in space. We know that S.H.I.E.L.D. specializes in extraterrestrial invasions and things like that. We know that Monica has a tie to this agency. She also has a tie to the Skrulls.
Yeah.
It would make sense to me that there are Skrulls inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. That would make sense to me. But again, where are the Avengers? Where's War Machine? Where's who else? Hawkeye. Hawkeye's still alive.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's training his daughter, or else we wouldn't get another Disney Plus show where they're going to be hanging out.
Where's the Hulk?
Yeah, okay. and that's honestly the kind of the cool thing, because your Earthbound heroes that were leaders, you're talking Iron Man, Cap, Black Widow, they're all done with this. So the cool thing is we're getting most of our folks now that are left right now are on more of like a galactic scale here. They're out in space and doing their thing. So I could see them trying to write it that way. Like, oh no, all our heroes that are left over, they're just chilling in space somewhere. We ain't got time for Earth. We've moved on past Earth. We're in multiverses and other things. Like, we ain't even worried about the Earth yet.
Maybe. So that's again, and this is where I say your theory has some bearings, is that the number one person for me is, where the hell is Doctor Strange? Like you should be able to see everything.
That would be on his radar big time.
That would 100% be on his radar. Where you at? Like,
Yeah.
where are? Because
You heard it here first, folks. Doctor Strange is Jimmy Woo.
Because
No, that one doesn't hold water. Okay, we'll keep moving on. That one's not believable.
The city of Westview, where's that located? Wasn't that? Didn't they say that's in New
I
Jersey?
think they said New Jersey.
Doctor Strange is in New York. So what's going on, Doctor Strange? So he for this, I think that needs to take place. I think he needs to come. But again, that wasn't even my theory. That was just a side comment.
Oh, so you in a technical, so you get two theories. Okay. Well, I see how you like to roll, Ryan. He said two theories for the price of one. I like that. I like your style. Let's hear it.
Talking about you don't know if Doctor Strange is going to be the savior because Wanda needs help or whether she's the villain. I think Wanda is 100% going to be a villain. I think that's a good arc for her. Start out as a villain, become good, go through tragedy, and you kind of turn on the people that helped you become a good guy,
Yeah.
But I also think Agnes is still behind everything.
You think Agnes is a part of it, or she's behind everything?
I think she's pulling the strings. I think, let me say this, I think Agnes is part of the reason Wanda is in this situation. Now, Agnes may have help. Agnes, I don't, Wanda doesn't know how any of this started. So I feel like somebody orchestrated this on her part. And then Wanda got on board. And then, whether Wanda, was just like, this is kind of cool. I get to keep my husband. Sure. And she just kind of stayed on board. That's different. But I do think there is either an organization, there is, a group of evil people that either Agnes is a part of. I feel like whatever it is that started this, Agnes is a part of it. I don't feel like it's Agnes and Wanda did this together. I think Agnes and someone else or another group of people started this. And that's why Wanda is in this situation. So Agnes could just be.
So Wanda is kind of like a villain right now. So do you think she's going to, like, once we get the reveal of who's actually been pulling the strings, do you think she will still end a villain by the end of the show? Or do you think she's a villain by circumstance and will come to the light side, so to speak?
We've already gone through this. You know how many people Wanda has killed? Even before she became an Avenger, she was literally she was a terrorist.
Yeah.
Before, she literally was already a terrible, terrible person. She was probably worse than Bucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she becomes a part of the Avengers, and then she accidentally kills a bunch of people. Everybody already hates her. Then she does this, and she kidnaps a whole town. And no matter,
to be fair, it's only a few thousand people she's held under, mind kidnap.
This is no matter how she got put in this predicament or not. She, from what the show has showed us, she still, it appears, can make the decision to say, nope, I'm done. I don't want any part of this. She has not done that. She has said, I don't know how this started, but in that same vein has said, no, I don't know how this started, but y'all ain't leaving. I don't know how this started, but I don't care about that anymore. Vision, you're staying here. You're not going anywhere. And everyone else that's here, you're not leaving. She assaulted Rambo. Like, she used her powers on her to kick her. I mean, Wanda's a villain. Like,
yeah. It's not a hard sell. I'm there with you.
She is physically assaulting people. She is keeping people against their will. Yeah. She has acknowledged that she didn't start this, but in that same vein, she is not willing to stop it. And she has said pretty much it's because she doesn't want to lose Vision. She has what she wants. Don't come in here, and I won't mess with you. She threatened a federal agency. She's a villain.
And here is the interesting part too. Like, and I didn't even think about it until you just mentioned it. Vision already told her that through his, whenever he took the supporting characters, they kind of took their level of consciousness and put it back into their who they normally are. It's painful what they're going through. They are aware that to a certain degree that Wanda won't even let them think about escaping. And Vision told her that it's hurting these people. And she's like, well, I love you, so we're gonna just keep going with it. So
So
yeah,
in
that's some villain stuff. That's a good point, Ryan.
my mind, she's already a villain. Just the fact that you're aware that even if you didn't start this, today you can make the choice to let these people go. You are choosing not to do that. You are literally holding Vision against his will. You recreated him. He already said he didn't want to be recreated.
Do you think he's gonna make it out of this show? This isn't really a theory. This is just more of a prediction because I personally don't think he will be alive at the end of the show, like in any capacity.
I think this is what's going to cause Wanda to go off the deep end.
I
Because
think this show is going to end in nothing but tragedy.
whatever is going to happen at the end of this show, Vision is going to be gone. Wanda is going to be pissed, and I would not be surprised if, because like they said, Wanda's powerful. Like she is giving off a lot of radiation, right? Like she is changing people's molecules.
She was about to destroy Thanos single-handedly
We
before
don't
that blitz.
know how far she can expand that range. Can she cover the whole world? I mean, I don't know how far that can go. Can you imagine Doctor Strange pulling up and being like, Wanda, I'm sorry, but I gotta come in here. We got to get rid of Vision. Like this has to end. What's Wanda gonna say to that?
I'm sure she'll be fine with it.
Exactly my point, right? Like, so no, I think Vision's gone. I think that is what is going to start this craziness. Whatever happens in Doctor Strange, I believe Wanda is what starts that. That's probably going to be on the last episode, and she's probably going to open up a multiverse, or maybe Doctor Strange and her powers are gonna collide, and it's gonna put a rip in time. I mean, there are just so many possibilities that Marvel can go in. I don't know, man. It's interesting.
Here's the craziest part about this whole thing. We just rattled off how many theories. We could sit here and talk for hours. We haven't even touched on her kids. We've barely spoken about the appearance of Quicksilver, a character from Fox X-Men properties. That's how intense this show is. So, real quick, do you think the kids are going to make it past this show? Do they live in the real world? They are living beings. They will be part of the MCU going forward.
So one of the things that Marvel is missing in their portfolio of shows is a Marvel show strictly for kids.
Yeah.
I could see some kind of spin-off of.
That's brilliant. Why don't you work for Disney yet? Because you out here giving all kinds of great marketing advice. That is fantastic idea.
I mean, when you look at what they have, that is the one thing that they don't have, right? Like, and we know Disney, they're in the business of making content for kids. The MCU does not have a kid-friendly, like I don't know, 7 to 10-year-old television.
I mean, they kind of will with Miss Marvel, but even then, I think she's a little bit older than 5 to 7. I think she's like early teens, right? Maybe
she may be 16, 17, right? Like I'm talking about a show literally for 7, 10, maybe 11, something like that. I don't know. Maybe those kids get their own spinoff, and
that's a great idea. I hadn't thought of.
I mean, like think about like what Teen Titans, like it's just a break off of the larger universe, and we have kids. We have Robin. Yeah, let's give Robin a show, and kids will love it. We'll call it Teen Titans. And actually, I think there is like something like that in like the Marvel comic book, like a young Avengers team. It's probably called something like that. I remember seeing something like that. But I mean, it makes sense. Like we have 2 kids, we have Disney Plus, let's make some kid programming. Let's pull them in here, and I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere down the line somebody else has a kid and they have a teenage Avengers team, and those kids start to get trained from, their whole goal is to become initiated into the Avengers, and they're training at the facility.
I wonder when the MCU. Maybe I should say if the MCU ever just finishes at some point before they have to start rebooting these things and all that. Hopefully, a long time from now. I wonder how many characters we will end up having seen in live action, because there are so many more that they have to introduce, which is part of why I think, characters like Vision, they're not going to keep him alive because they've got so many other characters to get to. They can't keep resurrecting people and bringing them back because there's so much new that we haven't seen yet.
Man, they you know how much legacy stuff they have to go on. I mean, they have so many. We have probably seen 2%
Yeah.
of Marvel characters. I mean,
And we've seen that they find a way to make it work no matter how silly the comic version sounds.
Let's bring in the tree. Let's animate a tree.
Yeah, let's have Bradley Cooper voice an angry raccoon and sign me up for every single one of those movies, because somehow that works. Vin Diesel as a talking tree, somehow that works and it's hilarious.
And then when the content gets dried up, don't be surprised in the least if they're like, hey, we got to do some stuff. Let's do let's make some content with DC. It's happened in the comics.
Whoa, talk about multiverses happening here. You talk about some WandaVision level magic here.
So I mean, listen,
who would sign up for that? DC, because DC needs some help. Because we're on the 18th Snyder cut, and so many ways you can polish that turd. But anyway, that's a whole different conversation.
That trailer looked good. The trailer
it's still good. The same movie. Here, I'll eat crow whenever it comes out and it's good. But as of right now, there's only so many ways you can edit that movie into a cohesive. And then if you start shooting other material, is it even a Snyder cut, or is it just like another, like the Justice League 1.5? We cheated like that. That's the movie we're about to get. Justice League, just kidding. Justice League, forget that ever happened. Or they just go straight up. They bring, you're right, they might have that mashup. They bring WandaVision in, create a multiverse where all that story didn't happen. And then this new one where Ben Affleck is still Batman still works.
So I think that's your version of a rant.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often, but man, like I said, if it's I'm hoping it's a good movie. I'm hoping I like that movie. I don't know how we got to a Justice League discussion in a WandaVision theory video, but we are here, and hopefully it works, but I don't think it will. We'll see. Throw Jared Leto in there. Whatever.
Well, as far as WandaVision goes, I think we both agree where they take this. I mean, they could take this in any direction they want. And honestly, I'll probably be happy with anywhere they take this, because
this is one of those things. I'll be cool with whatever they decide because I trust them.
Whatever they decide, I have zero doubt in Kevin Feige and his team. I'm just looking forward to what's coming next. So, that is what, our review of WandaVision. That's all of our speculation, our theories. What do you all think's coming? We've talked about mutants, we've talked about Fantastic Four, we've talked about quite a few things. So please let us know what you all think's coming from WandaVision. And until next time.